In this video, we are going to go over a mech which has captured the interest of the public, largely through memes, and is a mech which is best described as a last line of defense. Lovingly nicknamed things such as trash can, or garbage can with a gun, or an angry waste bin, few can say it hasn't had an impact on the setting as a result. Mocked by many, and loved by others, today we are going to talk about Orgus Industries' Urbanmech. A light mech weighing in at 30 tons, the Urbanmech defies all conventional understanding or wisdom in light mech design. Originally laid out as a concept and produced by Orgus Industries in 2675, the Urbanmech's overall design purpose was to be a machine to fight in dense terrain settings, and preferably in cities. Most light mechs, as a whole, are built with the idea that speed is armor and is a weapon, while the Urbanmech rejects this as a premise. Conceptually speaking, it is one of the slowest mechs ever built, and for its era, it is the slowest mech of the original TRO 3025. These machines, from the start, were found to be cheap, and shuffled into garrison units and militias of all sorts, and were used by the SLDF and successor states in this way, with only the Capellan Confederation utilizing it for anything approaching front-line deployments. This is actually what saved the Urbanmech from the dustbin of history, with its production facilities being destroyed in 2837, and with houses often viewing these machines as battlefield liabilities, more so than assets. This kept many of these machines in storage or in rear-line units, ensuring that the vehicle, despite not being in production, would survive as a design through the succession wars. The main version of the Urbanmech produced throughout the Star League era through to the destruction of Orgus Industries was the UM-R60. Powered by a stunningly underperformed Linux 60 standard engine, this pitiful engine gives the Urbanmech a lackadaisical and slothful top speed of 32.4 kilometers per hour, or 3 movement points in the tabletop game. For mobility beyond this, it has 2 primary jump jets, giving it the comical ability to leap 60 meters. In the realm of speed and mobility, the Urbanmech is nearly helpless as a prey item for most other Battlemechs. Its speed is so inadequate, it's hard to put into the realm of anything approaching acceptable, though it was never designed for it. Because of its limiting factor, it can't participate in almost any kind of unit beyond defense, and has no ability to truly escape a bad situation as a result. Once committed to something, the 32 km per hour top speed that it has ensures whatever that is will be the noose around the pilot's neck. For Heatsinks, the Urbanmech wastes a precious ton of weight on an additional heatsink, giving it a total of 11. This extra ton could literally have been put to better use on a bigger engine in an attempt to make the Urbanmech less of an embarrassment. In the realm of weapon systems, the Urbanmech boasts a strange package. Armed with an AC-10 Imperator B autocannon, it has significant punch in its right arm, as well as possessing a Harman small laser for dealing with infantry targets. The problem with this is generally that there are better uses of this weight, especially given a shocking 13 tons of the mech's weight is tied up in a single weapon. For urban fighting, the cannon may in fact find some use, but even then, the Urbanmech's ability to engage with it is limited, not just due to its poor mobility, but also by the fact it only has 10 rounds of ammunition for its primary cannon. One of the most significant apologies made for this unit is its firepower, but truth be told, it is outgunned by many of its peers, and even out-armored by some of them. Finally, in the category of protection, the Urbanmech is heavily armored for its weight, with a noteworthy 6 full tons of armor. This is, however, required, given that it is almost a stationary target, and it is expected to fight in close engagements. Without any mobility to back up its protection, it ironically can be rapidly found wanting. The UM-R60 is unironically one of the worst mechs ever made. It has reasonable firepower, but not upon scrutiny and in comparison to others. It has good armor, but not armor which will actually last in a prolonged engagement. In theory, it is meant to engage in combat in urban spaces, where lanes of fire are more restricted and mobility matters less. Until one takes into account mobile mechs such as the Firestarter can use their mobility in the city with their jump jets, as well as other comparable designs, allowing it to easily be outflanked and destroyed. The one benefit the UM-R60 has is that it is extraordinarily cheap for a Battlemech. It wouldn't be this cheap either if it was worth purchasing. There is a reason why a rundown used car in the newspaper is only being sold for $600, and it's not because it's going to get you to work and back reliably. I do hate to be harsh, but I fundamentally don't see value in this machine. It's a wonderful piece. I own 4 of the new model, to be clear. I deploy them in lore-based scenarios or in RPGs for various reasons. But to actually appraise its performance, design, and use, it is among the worst mechs in the history of Battletech. There have been many attempts to provide a better return on value than its original design. These variants have come over the course of the Succession Wars and beyond, and in this area, we will be looking at several of them. The UM-R60L is the Capellan attempt to enhance the firepower of the Urbanmech during the Succession Wars. It would reduce the onboard armor by 2 tons, making this model under-armored for its weight. And it would assign those tons to upgrading the AC-10 autocannon to an Imperator Zeus AC-20 autocannon. It has an extremely limited range, ammunition, and is under-armored. Despite doing more damage up front when in range, the R60L is overall a step down for the Urbanmech, making it even more of a death trap for the pilot within. The UM-A4 is what its designation means. It is an Urbanmech with an Arrow 4 artillery system instead of an autocannon. It utilizes endosteel and a small cockpit in order to make up the space needed to install the weapons array. It can also use the artillery system to fire a tactical nuclear weapon. This obviously enhances its ability and likely makes it the best Urbanmech design. Slow, but used to knock out fortifications as an artillery piece, and one which is relatively light, the UM-A4 is the best of these models. The UM-R93 is an update of the Urbanmech created in the late Dark Age by the Capellan Confederation. It would install a plasma rifle and an ER medium laser. It also has 12 tons of hardened armor, making it incredibly tough and durable, especially for its weight. In addition, it has 3 improved jump jets, which will be needed as a result of the hardened armor. This design suffers from what most other Urbanmechs do, but it at least has dense enough protection to keep it alive for some time on the field. To get to our final portions, the Urbanmech's strength lay in that it may be underestimated. Opponents may not respect its primary weapon system enough to give it enough room when coming in for the killing blow on the machine, or may discount it in some other way, resulting in the unfortunate demise of an arrogant pilot. Its other strength is that it is incredibly cheap. Its weaknesses are in essence endless. Cripplingly limited in mobility and movement means it can only be useful as a barely mobile turret in dense terrain, though this still results in it being flanked and destroyed by savvy commanders and pilots. Protection is a false comfort, As it's such an easy target to hit, its substantial armor will be eroded by concentration of fire. Finally, for its firepower itself, it may have a dense level of fire for putting all of the damage on one point, but its damage is not particularly impressive all the same, and is outgunned by most of its faster peers, and worse, has insufficient ammunition for anything past a basic engagement. Even with the more niche designs such as the UMA-4, the Urbanmech itself isn't good. It's simply a platform for carrying an artillery piece, and should it become part of the battle proper, it will be neutralized very quickly. Calling this mech a trash can only refers to its shape. The truth is, it's not reflective of a trash can at all, as those are far more useful and can be used to contain hazardous materials such as garbage. The Urbanmech itself, sadly, can't fit inside of a trash can. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. And on a side personal note, thank you for everyone who gave me well wishes while I was sick over the last week. I sincerely appreciate it. I do apologize for the delay in making this video, of course, though, most people are already aware of that who have followed us on the community. Again, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate all of your support. With that, I will catch everybody in the comment section below.